The galaxy held its breath. Stars twinkled like distant candles in the endless void. And amidst that infinite darkness, one small human vessel cut through the black like a silver arrow. Its name was Aurora, and aboard it, Captain Alara Voss stared at the holographic display, her fingers tracing the jagged map of fractured systems. Humanity had grown in ways no other species could imagine, spreading its reach to planets that whispered of forgotten civilizations, and now they hunted. Alara's eyes, sharp and unyielding, followed the trajectory of the last known alien outpost. These were no ordinary beings, they were the shattered remnants of a once proud empire, scattered and desperate. Their ships, twisted and scarred from previous encounters, floated like wounded predators across the void. But the humans never left the hunt unfinished. "Captain," said Milo Kirin, her second in command, a man whose quiet demeanor masked a mind as precise as a surgeon's scalpel, "sensors detect movement in the Trivix sector. Shattered vessels, small fragmented squads. They know we're coming." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Let them know. Let the galaxy see what happens when humanity decides to act." Her voice was calm, but beneath it simmered a storm. Resolve and something darker, a merciless determination honed through years of survival. Humanity had faced extinction before. Now they refused to show mercy to those who threatened their place among the stars. The crew of the Aurora moved with an uncanny synchronization. Engineers hummed at the control panels, adjusting the energy shields. Pilots murmured to their co-pilots, plotting interception vectors. It was a ballet of precision, a testament to human ingenuity. Every movement, every calculation was a declaration. They would not fail. From the observation deck, Ilara watched the stars blur as they accelerated toward the Trivix sector. She felt the weight of history pressing down, the silent judgment of a galaxy that had long observed humanity with suspicion, awe, and, at times, fear. "They're watching," she murmured, "and they don't understand what we can become." Milo stepped beside her, his gaze fixed on the distant glimmers of enemy vessels. "Do we ever?" Ilara's lips curved into a small, grim smile. "Not fully. But they'll learn." The first contact was sudden. Out of the darkness, alien ships erupted like jagged comets, firing plasma lances that lit the void with violent green fire. The Aurora's shields flared, absorbing the brunt, and the crew responded with ruthless efficiency. Human fighters darted like swarms of silver hornets, striking with precision, tearing through the alien formations. Amid the chaos, Ilara's voice cut through comms, sharp and commanding. "Target their command units. Do not let them regroup. Focus. Fire." For hours the battle raged. Ships collided, engines screamed, and debris drifted like frozen ghosts between stars. Yet the humans never faltered. Their technology, their discipline, their willingness to endure outmatched the scattered remnants of the shattered. Every strike was calculated, yet it carried a human signature. Ferocity tempered with cleverness, an instinct honed by a species that refused surrender. And then, silence. The battlefield hung in an eerie calm. The once proud alien formations lay broken, their vessels scattered like autumn leaves in a storm. Human fighters hovered, engines still thrumming as the Aurora emerged victorious. Ilara lowered herself into her command chair, exhaustion brushing her bones, but her eyes burned with relentless fire. She looked at the holographic map again. Each shattered alien cluster, each ruin, was a testament to humanity's resilience. The galaxy had watched, silent and uncertain as humans carved their mark into the stars. Yet even in victory, there was unease. The shattered were not gone. Pieces remained, hiding, learning, waiting, and Ilara knew deep in the marrow of her bones that the hunt had only begun. Humanity's mercy, or lack of it, would echo across the galaxy. Some would cheer, some would tremble, but all would watch. "Prepare for the next sector," Ilara said softly, almost to herself. "They will run, but they cannot hide forever." And with that, the Aurora plunged forward, cutting a path through the stars, merciless and unyielding, leaving whispers of human legend in the dark. The galaxy had never seen anything like them, and perhaps it never would again. The Trivix sector had gone quiet, but silence was never truly peace. On the bridge of the Aurora, Captain Alara Voss leaned forward, her hands clasped over the console. The battle left scars not only on space but on the human mind. Her crew, though disciplined, carried the echoes of explosions and alien cries. Victory had a cost, subtle yet deep, a reminder that even when humans triumphed, they could not escape the weight of what they had destroyed. "Milo," Alara said, her voice low, almost reverent. "How many did we lose?" Milo's eyes, always precise, flicked to the casualty report. 2 fighters destroyed. Minimal compared to the enemy, but he trailed off. The but carried the truth they seldom spoke aloud. Even the smallest loss could haunt them, whisper doubts into the quiet moments between battles. Alara nodded, understanding. They were hunters, yes, but hunters who carried conscience alongside instinct. Humanity was merciless to its enemies, yes, but it was also painfully human in its vulnerability. A single life lost could weigh heavier than a dozen victories. Across the void, the shattered huddled in fragmented stations and hidden outposts. Their command, Vorin, a being once exalted among its species, watched the human attacks unfold with a mixture of fury and disbelief. The humans did not simply destroy, they anticipated, adapted, and struck with chilling precision. Vorin's fractured voice trembled over a comm network, sending orders to scattered captains. Survive, retreat, learn their patterns. They are beyond calculation. It was true. Humans were unpredictable, but not chaotic. Their strength was not just in weapons or numbers, it was in resilience, in their refusal to yield even when everything seemed lost. Vorin had witnessed it firsthand in previous encounters. Yet even now, after millennia of conflict, the humans astonished him. Back on the Aurora, the crew navigated through the shattered remains of the Trivix sector. Debris drifted like frozen snow, lit by the green fires of destroyed alien reactors. Engineers monitored radiation spikes and unstable fragments, working with steady hands. Yet there was a tension in the air, a quiet undercurrent that no protocol could eliminate. The hunt demanded focus, but focus demanded awareness of one's own fragility. Alara's mind drifted to Lyra, the young navigator whose first battle had ended with near-fatal mistakes. Lyra sat in her station, eyes wide but determined, hands trembling slightly over the controls. Alara had watched her grow in those few hours, from fear to a calm precision that reflected the essence of humanity itself. Humans learned fast, adapted faster, and their spirits burned brighter when tested. "Milo," Alara said, voice soft but commanding, "prepare a recon team. I want eyes on the hidden clusters. They're hiding, yes, but humans do not forget and we never forgive." Milo hesitated only briefly. "Understood, Captain. I'll select the best. They'll need courage and cunning." Meanwhile, Vorin convened with the remaining shattered leaders in a dim, collapsing station. "The humans," he rasped, pacing a chamber lit with fractured light. "Their hunger for survival, their fear, it drives them into something merciless. We have underestimated them. Each attack is precise, but more than that. It carries intent. They do not merely hunt. They understand and they adapt. We cannot predict them." A junior officer shivered. "What do we do, Commander?" Vorin's eyes, jagged and glimmering, held the weight of despair. "We survive. That is all we can do. And perhaps we wait for a weakness that may never come." On the Aurora, human fighters launched in precision swarms, darting between debris, scanning every shadow for signs of life. Lyra's hands flew over controls, routing sensor data with uncanny instinct. Each small victory, the capture of a lone vessel, the disabling of a hidden reactor, was a testament to humanity's brilliance. Yet beneath the victories there was tension, for each strike brought a reminder. The shattered were not completely broken. They watched, learned, and hid, preparing for the moment when humans would overreach. Alara watched the reports come in, her face calm, but eyes sharp. She felt the invisible threads of empathy and ruthlessness intertwine within her. Humanity was more than conqueror. It was resilient, compassionate, ruthless, intelligent, and unyielding all at once. And that paradox, that complexity, was their true weapon. As the Aurora navigated deeper into the sector, the stars seemed to lean closer, silent witnesses to a hunt that would echo across the galaxy. The humans pressed forward, hunting a foe that had already tasted defeat yet refused to vanish entirely. And in that pursuit, they revealed a truth that no alien could fully comprehend. Humanity's spirit was unbreakable, and its will to endure was terrifyingly beautiful. Alara exhaled slowly. "Let them hide," she murmured. Let them think they can survive. The galaxy will watch, and we will remind it why humans endure. Somewhere in the darkness, the shattered listened, hearts pounding with fear and awe. They were hunted. They were shattered. And yet, in the relentless determination of humanity, they glimpsed something almost divine and utterly merciless. The aurora drifted through the nebula shroud, a region where stars were faint and the gas clouds twisted like frozen smoke. Here visibility was almost zero, and every shadow could hide a fragment of the shattered. Captain Alara Voss leaned against the rail of the observation deck, watching the swirling colors. She felt a strange intimacy with the void, the same void that tested every human who dared to traverse it. In silence, she allowed herself a fleeting thought. Even merciless hunters could pause to witness beauty. "Milo," she said, turning to her second-in-command. "This sector is treacherous. Sensors pick up signals, almost whispers. Could be debris, could be traps." Milo's face remained calm, but his eyes betrayed thoughtfulness. "The shattered are clever, Captain. They know their survival depends on shadows, misdirection. I'd advise extreme caution," Alara nodded. Humans understood caution, yes, but they also understood opportunity. "Send a recon team," she said, "but make it subtle. No alarms, no overwhelming force. Let them think they're still hidden." The team assembled, Lyra at the helm, Ronan, a sharp-eyed pilot, and Saria, a combat specialist whose calm precision had saved their squad more than once. Each knew that this mission required more than weapons. It demanded patience, intelligence, and a quiet ruthlessness. Humans thrived not only on strength but on ingenuity. As they navigated through the misty nebula, the sensors lit up with faint signals. Shadows shifted unnaturally, suggesting alien life moving silently among the wreckage. The tension in the small craft was palpable. Each crew member felt the weight of responsibility. One misstep could alert the shattered, turning a careful hunt into a desperate chase. Meanwhile, Voran and the shattered observed the humans' movements from a distant hidden station. "They learn," Voran hissed. "Even now they adapt to our tricks. They do not fear. They do not hesitate. How can one species endure so much and still press forward?" A junior shattered lieutenant trembled. "Commander, perhaps we should strike now. They are near, vulnerable in their small ship." Voran's gaze was unyielding. "No, patience. They will reveal more than their location. They will reveal their spirit. That is far more dangerous than weapons." Back on the human side, the recon team spotted a small shattered outpost, partially concealed by asteroid debris. Lyra's fingers danced over the console. Visual confirmed. They're repairing a damaged vessel. "Minimal crew. This is our chance." Alara's voice came through the comm, steady and commanding. "Engage carefully. Disable without unnecessary destruction. Show them human precision." The strike was surgical. Saria piloted their craft with exquisite timing, launching targeted energy pulses that disabled the shattered engines. No lives were unnecessarily lost, but the shattered crew realized their vulnerability instantly. They scattered, fleeing into the nebula's shadows. The recon team regrouped and reported back. Alara listened, her expression calm but her mind sharp. Humanity had achieved another victory, yes, but in every measured strike there was an unspoken question. How much mercy was too much? How much ruthlessness was justified? Even Milo pondered it quietly. "Captain, we are teaching them fear. But at what cost? Are we merely hunters or are we something more?" Alara's gaze hardened. "Humans endure because we act, because we decide. We do not wait for fate to decide for us, and we do not give mercy to those who threaten all we've built. Yet we do not destroy without thought. That is the balance. That is our strength." Somewhere deep in the nebula, the shattered watched from hiding, hearts heavy with awe and dread. Humanity was relentless, yes, but it was also more than that. They were strategic, adaptive, and unafraid to gaze into darkness, whether in space or within themselves. That night, as the aurora drifted in orbit above a fractured planet, Alara walked the quiet corridors. The ship was alive with soft hums, lights flickering over polished metal. Yet the weight of command pressed upon her. Every decision she made rippled across space, across lives. Humanity's spirit was merciless, yes, but it was also careful, thoughtful, enduring. Lyra approached her, hesitant but resolute. "Captain, sometimes I wonder, do we become monsters when we hunt like this?" Alara paused, studying the young navigator's face. There was innocence there, yes, but also the spark of understanding. Perhaps, she said softly. But monsters who endure also teach the galaxy something invaluable. Survival is not just about strength. It is about will, spirit, and the courage to face darkness with eyes wide open. And in that nebula, among drifting shadows and whispers of alien fear, humanity's presence spoke louder than weapons. They were hunters, yes, but also teachers, demonstrating to the galaxy what it meant to endure, mercilessly, brilliantly, and unflinchingly. The stars watched in awe. And the shattered trembled, for they knew the humans would not stop. Not until the galaxy itself understood the price and power of human resolve. The shattered asteroid field stretched before the aurora like jagged teeth poised to swallow the unwary. Stars glimmered faintly beyond the thick haze of dust and rock. Here, even the bravest of humans could falter, yet Captain Alara Voss felt only determination. This was the edge where hunters tested themselves against shadows, where courage was sharpened into precision. "Milo status report," Alara said, her eyes scanning the glowing sensor readouts. Milo's voice was calm, but there was an undercurrent of concern. Multiple shattered vessels detected, smaller than previous encounters. They're scattered but coordinated. They've learned from prior skirmishes. Caution is advised. Alara's lips pressed together. Then we give them what they expect. A decoy, a trap. Let's see if they can outsmart us. The humans' fleet moved like a living organism. Fighters darted ahead, drawing attention while the aurora itself lurked in shadows. Energy fields dimmed, sensors masked. Every human on the bridge felt the tension, a quiet electricity that hummed through the metal veins of the ship. This was more than a hunt. It was a test of patience, strategy, and unyielding resolve. Deep within the asteroid field, Vorin observed from his hidden station. His multiple sensors flickered with the approach of humans. "They are clever," he whispered, the word tasting bitter on his tongue. "Too clever, too precise. But we are shattered. We adapt, we endure. We strike where they cannot anticipate." The first engagement was sudden. Alien vessels swarmed the decoy fighters, plasma lances igniting the void with deadly light. Human pilots executed maneuvers that seemed impossible, weaving between asteroids with a fluidity that spoke of instinct, honed through relentless training. Each strike was calculated, each retreat deliberate. The shattered, confident in their knowledge of the terrain, found themselves outmatched at every turn. Alara's voice resonated across comms, sharp and unwavering. "All units push forward. Keep them contained. Remember, every ship disabled is a lesson, not just a victory." In the chaos, Lyra navigated the treacherous asteroid field with uncanny precision. Her hands moved over controls as though guided by intuition, charting a course that allowed the team to intercept fleeing shattered craft without collision. Beside her, Ronan piloted a fighter with a calm ferocity, weaving through plasma bursts and debris alike. Every human move was poetry in motion, efficient, deliberate, beautiful in its deadly execution. Yet amid the brilliance, fear flickered. One small human fighter, caught between a rock and a shattered torpedo, exploded in a blaze of light. Silence followed, a brief, hollow void in the symphony of battle. Alara's chest tightened. Every loss reminded her, humans were resilient, yes, but not invincible. Every life mattered. Every decision carried weight. Milo's hand rested lightly on her shoulder. "They will adapt, Captain, but so will we. This is not just survival, it's evolution in action." Hours passed, the battle stretching like a living entity. The shattered retreated further into the densest parts of the field, hiding among asteroids that shifted unpredictably. Yet humans pressed forward, unyielding, adaptive, and relentless. The galaxy, silent and vast, seemed to lean closer, watching the merciless hunt unfold with awe. And then, a revelation. Sensors picked up a concentrated energy signature. A shattered flagship, larger and more imposing than any previously encountered. Its engines were damaged, but not destroyed. It was a prize, a challenge, and a potential turning point. Alara's eyes gleamed. "Milo, this is it. Precision strike. Disable, do not destroy. Show them what humanity is capable of." The attack unfolded with elegant ruthlessness. Fighters struck from multiple vectors, drawing fire while the aurora unleashed a coordinated assault. Plasma bolts struck shields and armor, echoing across the void. And through it all, the humans adapted, responded, anticipated. They were merciless, yes, but their actions carried intelligence, empathy for their crew, and unyielding courage. Vorin watched, fury and fear intertwining in his alien mind. They are not just hunters. They are relentless creators of fate itself. Finally, the flagship faltered, engines dead, its crew contained but alive. A message was sent through universal translation protocols. Human mercy has limits. Respect is earned. Resistance is observed. Alara exhaled, a quiet smile breaking her stoic facade. Humanity had prevailed, yet with awareness. They were hunters who did not blind themselves with hatred. They were survivors who understood the cost of every action, and they were a force the galaxy could neither ignore nor fully comprehend. Later, in the calm after the storm, Alara walked the observation deck, watching the stars. Milo joined her side by side, silent but present. "The galaxy watches," he said quietly. Alara nodded. "And it will remember." Humanity's fires burn bright, sometimes merciless, sometimes measured, but always enduring. We are hunters, yes, but we are human, and that is our greatest strength. Somewhere in the shattered remnants, fear and awe mingled, a silent acknowledgement of what humanity could achieve. The hunt had progressed, but the lesson was clear. Humans endure, adapt, and strike with both intellect and heart. The galaxy would never forget it. The aurora drifted into a sector where stars were faint, swallowed by the thick black mist of a dying nebula. The sensor arrays flickered, struggling to pierce the darkness. This was uncharted territory, a place where even the most advanced human technology could falter. And yet, Captain Alara Voss felt no hesitation. Humanity thrived where others feared, endured where others broke, and now they faced a test that would stretch courage to its limits. "Milo," Alara said, her voice echoing softly across the bridge. "Our target is close. Sensors pick up a large energy signature. Shattered forces, heavily concentrated. They're hiding, but they're preparing something. Something big." Milo's gaze sharpened. "This could be an ambush, Captain. They know we are coming. The nebula offers them cover and advantage. Proceed with caution." Alara's eyes hardened. "We've never needed luck. Humans rely on resolve, intellect, and adaptation. Prepare the fleet. We strike with precision, but we remain flexible, always flexible." Deep within the nebula, the shattered waited, their fractured fleet coalescing around the core of their stronghold. Commander Vorin paced the command chamber, his alien limbs twitching with tension. "Humans," he whispered. "They have hunted us through every system. They anticipate, adapt, and strike without mercy. Yet here, in the heart of darkness, perhaps we can turn fear against them." His officers glanced nervously at one another. "Commander, we can strike first before they organize. They are vulnerable in this sector." Vorin shook his head, jagged eyes blazing. "No, let them come. Observe them. Humans are more dangerous when they reveal their spirit. Let them show us their limits, and then we will break them." On the human side, the fleet moved carefully, threading through dense clusters of dying asteroids and plasma clouds. Every fighter, every vessel advanced with cautious precision. Lyra piloted a small reconnaissance craft, her eyes scanning the shadows. Each movement felt like a delicate dance on the edge of a blade. The shattered were clever, yes, but humans thrived where caution met courage. Then it happened. Out of nowhere, plasma lances erupted from hidden positions, striking the leading human squadron with devastating force. Alarms blared across the aurora as debris and fire streaked through the void. The shattered had prepared a trap, a deadly calculated ambush. "Brace for impact," Alara shouted, gripping the railing as the ship shook. Fighters veered, shields flared, and the crew reacted with a seamless choreography of survival. Each human on board moved with instinct honed through years of conflict. Every calculation, every decision was razor-sharp. Yet even as humans repelled the initial strike, the moral weight pressed upon them. Saria reported over comms, voice steady but eyes reflecting the emotional strain. "Captain, the shattered civilians are here, hiding in the outpost. Some of their own species are caught in the crossfire." Ilara's jaw tightened. Here lay the paradox of humanity. Merciless hunters, yes, but not indiscriminate killers. "We neutralize combatants only," she ordered. "Protect the innocents. That is human strength." The battle stretched over hours, the nebula itself seeming to pulse with the fury of conflict. Human ingenuity shone brightly. Fighters outmaneuvered the shattered, disabling engines, cutting supply lines, and neutralizing weapon systems. And yet, the humans themselves felt strain, emotional and physical. Even their precision came at a cost. A sense of vulnerability, a creeping question of how far they could endure and remain humane. Milo placed a hand on Alara's shoulder. "Captain, we can win. But this is more than tactics. It is a test of our spirit. How much of ourselves are we willing to sacrifice to endure?" Alara stared at the swirling nebula, considering the question. Humanity's greatness was not just in victories, but in the choices made when victory was uncertain, when the stakes were measured not in systems destroyed but in lives preserved. "We endure," she said quietly. "We adapt, and we act with conscience. That is our strength. That is what the galaxy will remember." Somewhere in the nebula, Vorin watched in disbelief. Humans pressed forward, not only surviving the ambush but learning, adapting, and turning the trap into an advantage. They are relentless," he whispered. "And yet, they are merciful. How can such contradictions exist?" Alara's voice came over comms, calm and resolute. "Prepare for the final push. The heart of darkness may be theirs, but humanity carries light even here. We fight with strength, strategy, and spirit. The galaxy watches, and it will remember." And so in the shadow of annihilation the humans pressed onward, their courage unwavering, their minds unbroken, and their hearts steadfast. They were hunters, yes, but also protectors, thinkers, and survivors. And in the swirling void of the nebula, the galaxy witnessed something extraordinary. Humanity in its most merciless, most brilliant, and most enduring form. The shattered flagship loomed ahead, jagged and menacing, partially hidden in the debris of its ruined fleet. Its dark hull shimmered under faint starlight, engines sputtering but still threatening. Captain Alara Voss stood on the observation deck of the Aurora, her eyes fixed on the massive vessel. Every human aboard felt the weight of what was to come. This was no ordinary engagement. It was a crucible, a test of skill, strategy, and the very essence of humanity. "Milo," she said, her voice steady yet threaded with intensity. "This is it. The culmination of every system we've cleared, every battle we've fought. We cannot falter now." Milo's eyes met hers. "We won't, Captain. Humans endure. That is what sets us apart. We act where others hesitate, and we adapt when others crumble." Alara nodded, a grim smile forming. Humanity's strength had never been measured by raw power alone. It had always been the union of intellect, courage, and an unyielding spirit. The Shattered had underestimated that combination, and now the flagship would learn the consequences. The human fleet advanced, weaving through the shattered remains of alien vessels. Lyra, at the helm of a recon fighter, led a precision strike team, her fingers moving like poetry over the controls. Ronan and Saria flanked her, executing maneuvers that seemed impossible to any other species. Every human fighter, every system aboard the Aurora, moved with a single purpose: to end the Shattered's ability to strike, without unnecessary destruction of life. From the flagship, Commander Vorin observed rage and disbelief warring in his mind. They are beyond prediction, beyond calculation. How can a species act with such precision, such purpose, and yet retain mercy? A warning siren blared. Shattered torpedoes streaked toward the human fleet. Fighters responded instantly, intercepting the projectiles with deft precision. Aurora's shields flared as a plasma lance struck, testing their defenses. Crew members exchanged terse, efficient commands, their focus absolute. Every human on board understood the stakes. Victory or annihilation, and the survival of their species hung in the balance. Alara gave the order. Target the engines and weapon systems. Disable, contain, but do not destroy unnecessarily. Show them what humans can do when strategy meets conscience. The humans executed flawlessly. Fighters dove in through narrow debris channels, dodging plasma fire and collisions with unmatched agility. Lyra maneuvered with a skill that seemed almost instinctual, disabling a key weapon array with a single, precise strike. Saria deployed an energy net to trap smaller vessels attempting to flee. Each action demonstrated humanity's unique combination of ruthlessness and restraint. Hours passed in a blur of light and shadow. The shattered flagship faltered, systems offline one by one. Vorin's crew fought valiantly, yet the humans' adaptability and unyielding spirit proved overwhelming. He realized with grim clarity that the humans were not merely hunters, They were teachers, showing the galaxy the meaning of endurance, ingenuity, and moral strength. Finally, the flagship ceased resistance. Its engines died and its weapons fell silent. Alara's voice rang across comms. "We offer surrender. Lives spared will be honored. Further resistance is futile." Vorin hesitated, then nodded. In that moment, a fractured respect was born. Humans had proven not only their dominance but also their capacity for measured mercy. They were merciless hunters, yes, but they were also just, disciplined, and intelligent. The Aurora and its fleet hovered above the flagship, victory absolute yet tempered by conscience. Milo placed a hand on Alara's shoulder. "They'll remember this," he said quietly. Alara nodded, watching the stars through the observation deck. "The galaxy will remember. Humanity endures not through unchecked destruction, but through courage, intellect, and the choices we make even when we hold power. That is why they fear and respect us. That is why they watch in awe." Somewhere deep within the flagship, Vorin reflected on humanity's paradox. Merciless, yet merciful. Fierce, yet compassionate. Relentless, yet conscious of consequence. The Shattered had survived their hunt, but they would carry the memory of it forever. Alara turned from the observation deck, her eyes burning with quiet determination. The humans had faced the crucible of will and emerged victorious, not merely by force but by embodying the essence of their species. The galaxy had witnessed the proof. When humans chose to act, they could alter destiny itself. And in the vast silence of space, the stars themselves seemed to pause, watching humanity's brilliance, its ferocity, and its enduring spirit. The hunt was complete for now, but the legend had only begun. The nebula cleared, revealing a galaxy that seemed somehow smaller, quieter, yet infinitely more attentive. The Aurora and its fleet drifted through the aftermath of the hunt, engines humming softly, shields dimmed but vigilant. Captain Alara Voss stood on the observation deck, eyes tracing the light of distant suns that glimmered like jewels in the void. The Shattered had surrendered. Their flagship, damaged but intact, floated in silent acknowledgement of human might. Commander Vorin, once an embodiment of alien pride and fury, now regarded humanity with a mixture of fear, awe, and respect. For the first time, he understood something deeper than tactics or technology, something that even the most advanced alien civilizations had failed to grasp. Humans endured because they chose to act, and because they carried the weight of their actions with conscience. Milo joined Alara on the deck, quiet as the stars themselves. "The galaxy watches, Captain," he said softly. "And it will remember," Alara nodded. "Yes, they will remember what humanity is capable of. Not just our strength, but our will, our spirit. That is our legacy. That is why we endure." Lyra, standing beside them, finally allowed herself a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "Captain, do you think the Shattered will recover?" Alara's gaze remained on the horizon. "Perhaps, but they will never forget, and we will continue to act with intelligence, courage, and, when needed, merciless resolve." "Humanity does not seek domination, Lyra. We seek survival, and we honor the choices that make us worthy of it." Below, the fleet moved in disciplined formations, each vessel a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and teamwork. Every maneuver, every action had been honed not by instinct alone, but by the combination of mind and heart. The humans had hunted the Shattered mercilessly, yes, but always with intention, always with purpose. Somewhere across the galaxy, sensors on distant worlds recorded the tale. Stories would spread of humans who acted with ferocity and precision, yet carried mercy where others would destroy blindly. Scholars, diplomats, and soldiers alike would debate the legend. Entire species would watch and wonder, how could one species endure so much and yet act with both ruthlessness and conscience? Alara turned from the observation deck, walking slowly through the ship's corridors. Every step reminded her of the lives they had safeguarded, the victories they had earned, and the responsibility that came with power. Humanity had proven itself not just as hunters or warriors, but as bearers of a spirit that refused to bow, even when faced with overwhelming darkness. Milo fell into step beside her. "The galaxy may fear us, Captain, but more than that, I think it respects us." Alara smiled faintly, the weight of command still heavy but tempered by resolve. "Respect is earned, Milo, and humanity will continue to earn it through action, courage, and the unwillingness to surrender to fear. As the aurora soared through the stars, leaving the remnants of the shattered forces behind, a sense of quiet triumph settled over the crew. They were humans, resilient, brilliant, and unflinchingly determined. They had faced darkness and emerged not only victorious but unbroken in spirit. And across the galaxy, observers, alien civilizations, distant colonies, and hidden civilizations took note. Humans were more than hunters. They were enduring forces, capable of shaping destinies with intellect, courage, and conscience. The stories of their hunt would ripple through time, whispered in awe wherever intelligent life could perceive it. Elara finally paused on the bridge, looking out at the endless stars. She felt a profound certainty settle within her chest. Humanity would endure. Humanity would inspire. Humanity would act, adapt, and survive, no matter how vast the darkness, no matter how formidable the foe. The galaxy had watched. And it would never forget, because humans were merciless when they needed to be, brilliant when the stakes demanded it, and endlessly resilient. And in that truth, the legend of humanity began its eternal echo across the stars.